Peace and blessings, everyone. It's Coach Ed. That's me, and I am the coach, bringing you today game strategy. Now, this game strategy is going to be focused on college for today's episode, and it's going to be between the Colorado Buffalo and the TCU Horned Frogs. Now, their game is coming up this weekend, so I'm going to dive into a little bit of the strategy, what I'm expecting, what I think. So, stay tuned. Now, this episode is brought to you by Wise Consulting Solutions. They're the wise choice to help you get your credit back in order and get your financial situation aligned so you'll be able to capitalize and do the things you need to do in your lifetime. So make sure you reach out to Wise Consulting Solutions, the wise choice. Now, I wanted to talk about this game because college football is coming up. And this is the first game between these two teams for the 2023 season. They're playing Saturday, and it'll be in Fort Worth, Texas. And kickoff is at 12 noon. Now, it'll be carried on Fox, so if you're looking for it, definitely tune in. Now, I know many will, like me, because number one, Coach Prime, Deion Sanders, takes the helm at Colorado, and he is now ready to bring his brand of football from Jackson State University up to the Buffs in Colorado. Colorado's also in the last season playing in the Pac 12 before they move to the Big 12 for the 2024 season. So this is a little start, if you want to say, to when they move because TCU is also in the Big 12. Now, they did play last year, and TCU came away victorious 38-13. Now, one thing I want to stress, this is not going to be the same Colorado Buffalo. A large facet of the program from last year has transferred out. And Colorado, for their part, they brought in about 51 transfers. Now, some people will say that's a lot. Yes, it is. But Coach Prime did what he felt he needed to do to get his players. They are also ranked number one in terms of transfer players coming into the program. So, now if we take a look at last year's outcome, it was a very interesting dive for me to go through this and take a look at this. Now, looking at the overall team stats, in terms of first downs, TCU had 17 while Colorado had 20. Third down efficiency, TCU was 5 for 11 while Colorado was 6 of 15. Fourth down, TCU was 2 for 2, which is very good. Colorado was 0 for 3. Now, in total yards, TCU outgained them 413 yards to 348. Now, it's somewhat a disparaging, 60 some odd yards, but it's a big thing. But the biggest reason for the big disparity last year was in the rushing attack. TCU outrushed Colorado 275 to 113. Yes, you heard that right. 275 to 113. So you're looking at a difference of about 162 yards. And that's a big thing. Now, when I saw that, I said, okay, so TCU probably had a dominating time of possession. Unfortunately, no. Colorado had a time of possession of 33 minutes and 18 seconds, while TCU had 26:42. Now, you might want to say, okay, well, why is that? But when I look at the passing yards, TCU 138 yards passing, Colorado 235. That's an indication because Colorado had to pass to try and catch up. which also says TCU eventually, because they were ahead of the game, they were just keeping Colorado in front of them and just coming up and making a play in the passing game, because you do have to pass to try and score as quickly as possible. And that's what, looking at the play by play, going over all the stats, that's the one thing that I noticed, in terms of the game from last year. Now, a lot of key players from last year are not back. Max Dugan, who led TCU to the championship, to play in the college football championship, he's moved on to the NFL. But what most people don't know, he was not the starting quarterback in this game against Colorado. That was Chandler Morris. Chandler got hurt and ended up leaving, where Max Dugan came in to finish out the game. So, Chandler Morris, though, is back this year. Last year, he passed 13 for 20 for 111 yards. No touchdowns or interceptions. But you see the efficiency that he produced. He's a good game manager. Now, of their rushing attack, players who rushed last year, they have 3 players coming back from the amount of players who rushed last year. So there's going to be some new players. But they do have good quality running backs. They do have a good leading quarterback, and they have some good receivers coming back. But the biggest key, and I think this is where, looking at the game, it's going to really be key, is TCU has a very good offensive line. Last year they showed it, which is why they rushed so well. And I expect the same thing. Now, let me say this about Colorado. It's not going to be the same thing. I'm not expecting a 25-point differential like last year. But Colorado's coming in, like I said, with 51 transfers. You have a whole new team, a whole new coaching staff. It's going to take time to meld and gel everyone together, especially the players. But Colorado does have some talent, led by Shedeur Sanders, coming over from Jackson State. Now, coming out of high school, he was a high-level recruit, but he chose to follow his dad to Jackson State, which is understandable. But he was recruited by a lot of the top-level programs across the country. So, and this player, Sanders, is a very smart player. He's been raised in the game. He understands the game. He's a great leader. So he will put all the players in the right position. So that's one of the big factors for Colorado, I think, can help them. But as I said before, it's going to be about the trenches. I mean, Colorado is going to play fast. They have some fast players. They brought a lot of fast players over to their program. So I am expecting them to hit with explosive plays from time to time. But TCU, for that matter, they have great experience on both sides of the ball. They have great experience on their defense. They're strong in the secondary. And that, as I was talking about before, the explosiveness and the speed of Colorado, that's where TCU will try and match up with them. And we'll see how that goes. So, for me, the strategy is TCU is going to try and attack Colorado in the run game. If they can impose their will at the line of scrimmage, expect them to continue to run the ball and chew the clock up. That's the other factor. You want to run to limit the opportunities of Colorado, because if they have that speed and they want to hit and capitalize with explosive plays, you want to chew the clock up and not allow them to have the ball, because they may hit with a deep pass or an explosive run, and it's going tit for tat. But if you're controlling the clock and you're limiting the opportunities for Colorado, then that puts you in a better opportunity, because you're experienced, you've played together, you have a coaching staff that's returning, You have a lot of guys that played in the championship game last year, so they know what it takes to get there. So the strategy I expect for TCU is to run the clock. As far as for Colorado, whenever they have the opportunity, is to attack TCU deep, get their defense back, and then maybe you can get some underneath. And you know what? Make a guy miss a tackle, whether in the run or in the short passing game, and then you attack them down the field. Well, that's it for today. Just wanted to give you my strategy in reference to Colorado and TCU. You guys, let me know what you think. Make sure you leave a comment. And those of you who are new, make sure you subscribe and hit the notification. And everyone, make sure you like and share. You guys are doing a great job in helping me get this out there in the algorithm. So, as I always say in closing in sports, make sure you turn it on and turn it up. Let's go.